Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Rant Squad. I am the Water Dog. This is, well, maybe Clint Jordan, and this is
Brendan Menard.
And brother, we are rocking and rolling. We're going to give you our Week 6 report card, the Week 6 recap. We're going to be doing things very fast today because we be traveling.
On the road.
We be traveling. So we got to do things. We're going to go fast for you today, so we're going to go furious. And so my buddy Clint's going to tell you right now his winning team, losing team, best performance, and worst performance. What do you have, Sir Clinton? Thank you very much. Gang, winning team for me. Surprise winning team for me was the Dallas Cowboys. In many ways, I thought the Steelers were just trying to figure out ways to lose that game for them. And the Cowboys still figured out how to get away to get the win. They got that win on that last drive. That game should have been nowhere near close. So to me, that's the surprise. Prescott is just, I like Dak Prescott. He played very good. He, once again, he throws for like 270-something yards. He got you 2 touchdowns, and he did have the 2 picks. It doesn't seem like, anything really bothers him. He's like, he's the same throughout the game, whether it's positive or negative. And so I like him. I think he's a good quarterback for the Cowboys. The Cowboys' biggest problem to me, more than anything else, is their inefficiency to run the football well. Now, Dowdle did a good job last night. That was his best rushing game ever. I thought that was a good running game from him. But if they could just sustain a running drive or a running game, then they'll do good. And once again, they got the same problem as the Texans. They're great in between, the 20 and the 20.
Yeah.
You get them down there into that red zone, all of a sudden it starts to fall apart. So I got the Cowboys as my winning team. Losing team, Bills. That was a stinker. And then the coach blew the fourth quarter. I don't even want to get into that game. Best performance, my man. Kirk Cousins. 500 yards. He was amazing. Threw for over 250 yards in both halves, which is, is something I don't think it's ever been done. 250 yards in both halves. And once again, he's got to come from behind a win. That's his 3rd one this season. Ironically, the Falcons are 3-2. They've been in every game. What more can you say? That is a great performance by my man, Kirk Cousins. Dig it, brother. Worst performance. This one was really easy. Let's just call it the Cincinnati Bengals defense. The reason why the Bengals are 1-4 is because the Cincinnati Bengals defense sucks. They just sucked all year. And it doesn't matter how many touchdown passes Burrow can throw. He can throw, 10 touchdown passes, but the defense is going to give up 11 touchdowns. That's what it seems like to me. Boss, what's your report card look like?
All right, so sometimes just when you're wrong, pick'ems, you got to admit you're wrong, right? And I was very wrong. I picked against the Chicago Bears. I picked the Carolina Panthers to beat them.
I did.
But in that, I said the Bears should win this game. I just had a gut feeling, as we haven't seen it all year, that Carolina would find a way to win that game with a veteran quarterback. And I was wrong. The Chicago Bears, they really showed up. It might have been those flash in the pan games that they had, but Caleb Williams looked really good in that game. 20 for 29, 304 and 2 touchdowns, no picks. That looked good.
It's amazing what you can do when you can run the football, and the Bears ran
well,
the
DeAndre
football.
Swift finally came back to life.
But I'm still saying Caleb Williams has probably his best game because they ran the football. And
it takes pressure off.
Yeah, and I talked about we talked about Bo Nix and the Broncos, right? Was one thing they were able to do, run the football a little bit more. You run the football, you'll be surprised.
It's a quarterback's best friend is a run,
especially when you're
a rookie quarterback. And so the Bears, they really just surprised me this week. I think coming out, we haven't really seen that performance from them yet. Caleb Williams finally looked like that #1 overall pick, which I think is very uplifting for Bears fans. Granted, it is Carolina, so let's not Super Bowl bets here, but they looked good. Best team of the week for me, surprising wise.
But their defense, Eberflus.
Well, they are.
Their defense
is good.
I mean, that's the same defense that shut down the Texans, and they still could have won that game against the Texans. You know what I'm saying? So that defense is good. They do have a good defense.
And so I do have to give Clint credit on that. He did say that last week we were picking these. But what I have learned is a good defense can only hold you out so long. At some point, And even the best defenses, they will break it. So the offenses are just too good. The rules go to their favor now. And so I knew the Bears had a good defense, but in the previous weeks, we're talking about they didn't even have 100 total offensive yards. A good defense can't hold a team for that long.
Well, let's look at that division real quick. Okay, 'cause in that NFC North right now, I would say that's the best division right now. Probably could say in football because you've got Lions,
Okay.
Vikings, Packers, Bears. All of them have winning records right now.
Yep. No,
And three of them are on track to be in the playoffs.
I think that'll be very interesting to see because I picked Detroit to win that division, but I think Minnesota could actually have a shot with that. Just because the way that they are playing, and that's going to lead me to my losing team, which is the New York Jets. And now, if we were to have picked this game, I would have picked the Vikings to win this game. But it's surprising to me in the way that they lost that game in London. And for anybody who got up and watched it, the final score does not tell the tape of that game. Aaron Rodgers looks horrible. He got a lot of garbage time, yardage. Garrett Wilson probably got 95% of his stats in the last quarter when the Vikings were just trying to get out of London. Okay? They have a top 5 defense. Scoring, I think they're number 1.
There's nothing wrong with their defense.
And number 2 defense and passing and running yards. And I'm really getting tired of the finger being pointed at Robert Saleh for this problem because it's not him. It's Aaron Rodgers. I've never been a big fan of him. I know a lot of people are, and he has moments, but he was supposed to be the key to help this team. They had a great defense. Like I said, they could have won 11 games last year within a touchdown, but they had Zach Wilson.
With a defense like this, and this is what I don't understand, is why are you not running the ball 25 times?
Yeah.
It does not matter that you only get 1 to 2 yards per carry on your first 10, 15 carries.
Yeah.
You don't run the football to be successful in the first half. You run the football to take off pressure, to wear down the team so that when you run in the fourth quarter, then that's when the big runs really break out. Think of Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Derrick, all of a sudden, boom. Because it's in the fourth quarter when everybody's tired and all of a sudden you got to have that big run. It's in the fourth. So you run early to set up runs late and to wear down the defense. And if you got a great defense like the Jets, you take a time off the clock.
Correct. And I want to say Aaron Rodgers had 3 picks in the first half. I think 2 for sure, possibly 3. To me, that was just so disappointing losing. Because at some point, you think they're going to turn it around. Right? My whole life, I've heard Aaron Rodgers is a top 5 quarterback. He's in the GOAT conversation. He's up there with Manning and Brady. I don't ever remember Manning and Brady having the top 5 defense and looking that bad. When we get to our best performance, I'm with you on the Falcons. I think it was Drake London. And my reasoning for this is we have been waiting. For me, as someone who owns Drake London in fantasy, but also just like the great talent coming out for the Falcons. This was the week we finally got to see him really show out. 12 catches, 154 and a touchdown. Really good. I think Darryl Mooney had 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards, took a lot from him there. But Drake London, I think this was the game that's going to put him over the top going forward. And so I was really excited to see that. Kirk Cousins, I don't think he surprised me, but I know he could do that. But in this offense, I knew he could do it. Now, that was very impressive what he did.
That drive, that 1 minute drive, and then be able to simply
But I think for one wide receiver that we've been really waiting to see.
Well, we've been waiting to see like a lot of the Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts finally probably had his best game.
Yep.
Where he had 8 catches and everything else. But you got to see when you've got a professional quarterback throwing you the football where he's hitting all of these targets.
That was the Atlanta Falcons going in that I picked to win the division. I thought that was going to be the team we were going to get. I'm glad to see we finally got them. My worst performance. This one hurts, to be honest. Because I was at home and I was watching this Raiders-Broncos game. And the Raiders were up 10-3. And they were driving. I said, I got to pick up on them when our Pick'ems game. I got it right here. The Raiders are going to win this game going up 17-3. And I called Leonard at like 11:20, making my Sonic run. 11:20, I called him and said, you know what? There's just a certain point in a game where one play changes the entire game and dictates the win. There's just always one play, and it's either at some point in the game, but there is one instance because the first Super Bowl I remember watching the whole thing and being involved in was the Steelers and the Cardinals in that 99 or 100-yard pick six right before halftime. And I remember telling Leonard, I said, after that play, I knew the Steelers would win the game. It just seemed like the whole momentum, it was just destined for them. And watching this game, the Raiders are driving 10-3. They're literally, I think it was on the 5-yard line. Gardner Minshew rolls out wide open, wide open. I don't even, and sails it over his head for a 100-yard pick six. And he could not mentally get over that the rest of that game to the point where he had to be pulled for the backup. Hopefully that's another business decision, to be honest with you, that the Raiders made. But to me, that was the worst performance because watching that game up to the pick six, the Raiders were going to win that game. They were controlling the run game. Their defense was looking really good because it was 10-3, about to be 17-3. And that pick six really just killed it. He mentally could not get over that hurdle. And for the rest of the game, it looked like he was playing scared. And then he eventually just got pulled. And honestly, when you put a backup in like that, and you're already down, it's not going to go well for the Raiders. But Minshew's just got to be better than that, which I will give you credit because you did talk, I think, earlier in the year about how he does have a point where he just falls off.
And I don't know why either, because there's like games that are so impressive for him, and then there's these games that all of a sudden you're like.
Because there was no offensive problem, and I know a lot of people are going to jump to Devontae Adams. That's not a problem. Brock Bowers looked really good. The other receivers did their job. The running game with Madison looked good. Yeah. But the quarterback has to be able to go to the next play and execute. Because even after the pick six, it's 10-10. And it didn't feel 10-10. It felt like Denver was on a mile high, and it was over. There's no other way you can put it. So that was just my worst performance of the week right there.
Well, brother, that's all we got for this one, brother. We appreciate you watching. We've been the Rant Squad. I'm the Water Dog. This is... It's so hard when he's not here. It just looks like it's there. Glenn Jordan, this is
Pretty Menard.
We are out of here.